I left the microphone up on the podium, so I'll grab it in a minute. Or can you over here to me because she's a great president. All right.
That's my president.
All right. Is that too loud? Okay, that's good. All right. So I call this meeting to order at 3 p.m. on February 6, 2019. So we'll go right into roll call. Senator Bates? Here. Senator Boyle? Here. Senator Syriac? Senator Gasper? Senator Glenn? Senator Goggett? Here. Senator O'Neill? Here. Senator Hodges? Senator Killian? Here. Senator Madsen? Senator Nian? Senator Nuri? Here. Senator Oscar? Senator Pages? Senator Pease? Present. Senator Perez? Senator Saney? Senator Sue? Here. Senator Sue? Here. Senator Suddy? Here. Senator Tacky Marble? Senator Tamara? Senator Tam? Senator Zippel?
Here.
Chair Martins?
Here.
Chair Zona?
Here.
Chair Patel? Here. And Vice Speaker? Here. Alright, moving on to the third article. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Motion rejected because I have an amendment to the agenda. So the USG group photo is going to be postponed. I sent the email about it. It's going to be part of old business when we meet again in 2 weeks. We're not going to be able to do it today because we have a pretty bad schedule. Yeah. So.
Alright, so now we will motion, do I hear a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Motion to approve the amended agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
And of those no, say no. Okay, that is approved. Do I hear a motion to approve the old minutes?
Is there a second? All those in favor of approving old minutes, say aye. Aye. Okay. Are there any discretionary account expenses at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on down to committee actions, starting with campus and community affairs.
Hi guys. So there's a room change for the rest of the committee meetings for CCA for the rest of the semester. So we're moving to Campus Center 4115, which is the Dean of Students office. So it's like up on the 4th floor, so you can like go down to where the bursars and stuff are and walk through. But we can meet outside of there and go find a room next week. And then also, we're going to be tabling probably once or twice a week for the rest of the semester between me and Katie and Sam are going to kind of ramp that up. So if we send out an email that's about a tabling event, and even if you're not in CCA or part of the cabinet or anything, you guys are kind of expected to be there too, and like your chairs are going to remind you and let you know, like, it's not just my people, it's not just people, it's everybody that is responsible for this type of stuff, because it's representation for USG, so keep that in mind. I'll let you guys know when we have tabling events, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you. We'll move on to budget and finance.
Hi everyone. So our room changed too, but none of my senators are here, so never mind. So we approved 2 budget requests from the College of Republicans and the other from the Christian Fellowship Club. And one of them, which is the one from the College of Republicans, is going to be amended. So they'll be presenting shortly, so you'll see more about it.
Okay.
That is all I have.
Excellent. And moving on to SCOC.
Hey everyone, our room has not changed. It's in the same location as always. What we've been working on so far, I sent the event eval form back to you guys, got some feedback from it. Worked with Alicia 2 days ago and kind of refining questions. I'm going to send that over to BNF. Try to make everything just one form so it's simple for any club who's gotten funding from BNF or SCOC to fill that out, so then we can have that permanent data. And then we're going to kind of move forward from there and try to make sure we get clubs to work on that data and submitting that so we can look forward to that for future events. That's all I have to report.
All right. Thank you, Chair Patel. Moving on to officer reports, starting with President Report.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Just a reminder, so Vice President Zeno and I will have a roundtable on March 5th at 5 p.m. It will be the second roundtable. We had one at the beginning of the semester, so thank you for all that came to that. We're going to be continuing that relationship with clubs and updating them on what the findings from the task force has been, so we can try to control the third floor as a group and not just come down with rules that everybody don't agree with. We do have a nomination today for an open justice position, Macy Jones, but I will let her introduce herself when we get that down on the agenda. And then if you are looking to run for USG or know friends that are looking to run for USG, nominations are open on you and be involved. You can run again as a senator. President and VP must run as a ticket together, or student trustee. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm chairing the elections committee. So if you are interested in running, I highly, highly recommend that you run. Thank you. That's all she has to report.
Moving on to Vice President.
Okay, losing my voice, I'm so sorry I have to do this on a microphone. But we are, lots of things like Katie said, fun things we hope to see at the roundtable. We are having a meeting with the Chancellor tomorrow to discuss a variety of things and new things that we hope to implement on campus and the rest of the academic year ahead. We also have a meeting with Gail next week to continue the monthly meetings that we have in which we plan different programs and student initiatives throughout the year, but that's all I have to report.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to speaker report. I don't have a ton to report today. Chair Patel and I had the pleasure of meeting with Apurva Mehta and a few other members of the library staff, as well as with a few members of MassBerg as well, talking about OER Week. So OER Week is March 4th through the 8th. And during that week, there's going to be a lot of events, workshops, info sessions, discussions centered around OER and advanced implementation at UMass Boston. It's a really great opportunity. I can kind of brief you on a few of the rundowns from the meeting itself. The program in general has received funding for FY20, which is $3,500 from the provost office, which is fantastic, because that money will actually go towards the incentive program, which is used to support teachers that support OER. So teachers that implement OER are looking at, in some circumstances, up to a $1,000 bonus for adopting it in the classroom. There is a training on March 20th that any faculty that is willing to go to will get $200, and any faculty that is going to actually implement it after leaving gets a $1,000 bonus. So we're going to be promoting that a lot during the week, trying to get as many faculty as possible over there, just to kind of get the name in everyone's head. And yeah, so we're going to be working on a few things. Within USG, we're going to work on surveying students and seeing their sort of opinions and kind of breaking down the demographics as it pertains to OER from their perspective. And Apurva and the rest of the library staff is going to work on the faculty side a little more and just kind of see where everything matches up. I think it could lead to some really interesting data. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to report.
Thank you, Anthony. Hey, everybody, how was your break? Hope I had a good break as well. Let me tell you about what's been happening. Over the winter break, I had a couple of conference calls relating to the Chief Information Officer Search Committee. We went over the candidates' resumes to discuss the weaknesses and their strengths. I had my second conference call last week. We have one this week. There will be 2 days of first round interviews during the last week of February, and then another round will occur during the last week of March, and then there will be an opportunity for students to have a chance to interview the final few candidates that we decide on. I will give you more update on that once that time comes around. I don't know the dates yet, but they have yet to tell me, but I will be sure to let you guys know in the next GA once I find out that info. There's also an opening in Beacons TV. One of our members is no longer with us for this semester, so if you're interested, let me know. And yeah, that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Falardeau. Moving on to student trustee.
Hello, people. So, hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. Alright, so Katie, Sam, and I are going to be attending the State of the University address. What that is that's when the president, President Meehan of the system, he, sorry, I can't do the technology. Okay, there we go. So he kind of runs down how the system has been doing for a year, what are the accomplishments, what he hopes to achieve in the next year. So that's going to be March 4th, so we will be there. And also, so I was not going to have any board meeting until end of March 27th, but there's a special board meeting coming up on the 14th. The topic is real estate transactions, so as soon as I go to that meeting, find out what it is, so I'll inform you guys about that. And one quick note, which I thought was wonderful. So the governor, he filed the FY20 budget recommendation, he sent it to the legislature, and for this year, he appropriated $558 million for UMass, and that's an increase of 7.5% from FY19, which is absolutely wonderful. So we will see how the legislature, they act on it, but from the governor's part, that's pretty great to hear. And that's all I have to report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Tariq. Moving on to Chief Justice report.
I just wanted to echo what Katie said. We will have a justice nomination later, but that is all I have to report.
Were you renominated as Chief Justice recently?
Oh, yes. I was recently renominated as Chief Justice, which is why I'm still Chief Justice.
So, seeing as old business has been postponed to our, never mind, Senator reports. I apologize.
So the part of my mini project, I've been working with a group called the Every Voice Coalition, which they represent about 40 campuses across Massachusetts with a mission to end gender-based and sexual violence. So one of my parts on this group is to be taking meetings with legislators. So I have been advocating for 2 bills, a campus climate survey for all colleges across Massachusetts, as well as a Title IX provisions bill that offers more resources to sexual assault survivors. So I'm working with them, meeting with representatives, and I'm really happy to say that for the climate survey bill, we have over 90 co-sponsors on the bill, which is more than half, which is more than the majority. And the Title IX bill has 114 co-sponsors. So it's really exciting. That's never happened before in the House, having such a strong, united front supporting these bills. So I get updates as those get passed, but with that majority co-sponsoring these bills, it'll really push these bills through and they'll get approved very quickly. So I'm very happy that I was able to work on that team, pushing that legislation through the State House.
That's awesome. Good job. Another Senator.
Hello, everyone. So I actually wanted to give an update in regards to Every Voice, like Senator Goggin. And so with her and President Petrano, we've been working on basically working with Every Voice, which, as she said, is a coalition that fights against sexual violence and just empowering students and raising awareness about these issues up to a legislative process. And so with legislation from USG being passed in support of the coalition, we believe that it's time to sort of start an initiative here at UMass Boston. So there is, well, separate from that, there is a summit on February 23rd, which is basically students affiliated with UMass Boston are able to attend, again, in support and awareness of what's going on with Every Voice. But we're also planning to have a town hall later in the semester. Again, hopefully trying to bring in guests to speak about these issues, but also how Every Voice is helping with the process. So if anyone is interested or have any questions, you can contact any of us. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. So again, seeing as old business has been postponed, we're going to start with the first article of new business, which is the InterVarsity Christian budget request. Yeah. It should be like the first or second, one of the Word docs that's open at the bottom.
Okay.
So greetings, Chair, Senators, faculty. My name is Ting. I'm the Vice President for InterVarsity Christian Fellowship Club.
I'm Freddie, I'm an event coordinator for the club.
So just a quick summary of this. So we are a Christian organization that will have 10 of us students going to Houston as an alternative spring break trip service, which basically will be a week-long service trip at Houston for the damages that was done based on Hurricane Harvey, and it will be our second time going to Houston for this year.
Yeah, so just a little bit about the trip. We're going to be going with a few other campuses from New England. The trip started out as hurricane relief after Katrina hit New Orleans, but ever since Hurricane Harvey, which actually caused more damage, they started sending teams down there. So we'll be working with organizations like Greater Houston Food Bank, Habitat for Humanity, and mainly rebuilding homes, providing support for families that have lost just about everything. And we're also going to be integrating some conversations about faith and justice, what does it mean to serve, and what is the role of people in our society in helping those who have suffered through injustices, and even things like natural disasters that just kind of happen and we don't have some control over them. And yeah, we'll be interacting with a lot of different people, getting to know the stories of those who have been affected, and then just hoping to bring back those kind of conversations on campus. We're trying to organize something to educate people about what happened and the real loss that people went through and how we were able to serve, and then hopefully put together something to serve those of us in our community that have been affected.
Yeah, and so two more things. So we may be a Christian organization, but we open this trip to anybody. So of the 10 students, they contain freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, non-members, new members, and those who are not even of the Christian faith. It's open to anybody on campus. And also the cost that will be required is $675. They include lodging at a local church that Houston will be covering for us, transportation back and forth, supplies for the repairs that we'll be doing, and yeah. So as far as this budget request goes, hopefully this will be one way where students can see finance as not an obstacle for them to participate in this trip. So yeah.
Any questions are welcome.
Sure. Well, thank you both very much for presenting the BNF budget request. So I just had a quick question. If you could just kind of go over the numbers real briefly. I'm not sure if they're outlined in the presentation or if Chair Zona can speak on them a little more, just as to how much per person.
Yeah. Okay. So the 10 students going, we're asking for $150 per person. I think is what the Finance and Budget Committee approved. So $150 per person would be a big help for a lot of students, and then $150 a person, so $1,500 total.
So just to be clear, the total would be $1,350, the total.
Oh, 1,300.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so that's one less.
Because at the time, your budget, maybe someone else had it, but we
Right.
We voted on 9 students.
That's fine. That's fine.
I noticed that, but you can just.
Yeah, that's okay. Someone else.
Because at the time it was 9 students.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, it's
9
now
students.
10,
No,
or it is now?
When the budget and finance committee voted, it was 9 students, 150 each.
Okay.
That's up to 1,350.
Okay.
Yeah, so because this trip is still open for any students that we come across, so this is as of now, this is not it, so yeah, not to confuse you guys.
No, we have understanding that whatever money that was voted on is going to be money, and we knew that since registration is still open, there's a possibility that more people would come on, and you couldn't guarantee them the funding from school.
Got it.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Are there any other questions? Is there any motion to do anything? It's been a motion to move to a vote. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of moving to a vote say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we are now moving to a vote to fund the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship $1,350 for their, oh, you moved it. Can you scroll up again? For their serve up presentation. For their serve up trip. So all those in favor of approving this budget request say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations. All right, moving on to the College Republicans budget request.
Anthony, does he have it on here?
It should have. If not, it's like the first article in my Dropbox. So just open it up. And then go. There it is. Yeah. You can blow it up if you want.
SF11.
Hi guys, for those of you who don't know the website, not only am I a member of USG, but I'm also the president of the College of Republicans University of Massachusetts. This year we're actually we're trying to go to CPAC. For those of you who don't know what CPAC is, and scroll over here. CPAC is the annual convention. It's called a conservative political action conference. It's put on by the ACU. Essentially, it's our annual national gathering of all conservative organizations, student groups, major political leaders from the conservative summit across the United States. I had the opportunity to actually go last year on a self-funded trip. I went because there were a lot of excellent training opportunities. I brought some of those lessons back to College Republicans here, and now we're trying to actually send a few more people down this year so they can also learn those valuable skills, network with conservatives, and then bring it all back to our organization here at UMass Boston. Farther here. So here's our plan, and our plan has also changed since it made it through the BNF committee, and I'll try to go over that as quickly and briefly as I can. But essentially, our transportation plan is to send everyone down from Boston to Washington, D.C. on a megabus. It costs approximately $80 round trip. Attendance to CPAC is a 4-day event. It's $85 for students, which is great considering that for the average Joe Blow, it's a $510 price tag. So that brings us to $165 a head just for people to actually get down there and attend the conference. Hotels in the vicinity of the conference are approximately $310 per night. In order to mitigate some of that cost, we've planned on doubling people up as best we can. The exception there being that we're not planning on doubling up any females with males. We do have one female who's planning on attending, so she'll have to be off on her own. Now comes to the change. Originally, when we pushed this over the BNF, we requested funding for 9 people to go down. However, due to some logistical problems, some administrative requirements, and some funding issues on our end, we can't support sending 9 people down to Washington, D.C. for 4.5 days, especially not at $310 a night. So the executive board met on Monday to go ahead and trim that number down to 4. In doing that, we tried to pick the people who would be best fit to bring those lessons back and ensure that those lessons are carried on beyond this academic year. I was somebody who actually got plucked off the trip because I'm graduating in May. It doesn't make sense to send me down there to learn a bunch of lessons that I'm not going to be able to instill in anybody next year. So that's our amendments. As far as budgeting, we've been working on this for about 3 months now. Part of working on it involves reaching out to local, regional, and national affiliates of College Republicans. unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult immediately following an election cycle for those entities to push any money down towards smaller organizations like ours. So we haven't really been able to get any money from those organizations. That being said, we're still trying. And that's why your support is that much more important, because every cent matters to us. We can't send people down there without USG's help. And so that's why we're asking for $150 per person times 4, $600 total. Fundraising is also presented kind of a unique challenge for us in that, given that we're a small group of conservative students on campus in Massachusetts, it can be a little bit tricky to get people to lend an ear, let alone give you, $5 or $10 to send you somewhere, especially for a political action conference. So that's essentially the short and sweet of it. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys have about CPAC, about CRs.
Well, thank you very much for presenting the budget request. Are there any questions at this time? Chair Patel?
Have you chosen the 4 students to go to CPAC yet, or are you guys still looking?
We have. Initially, it was going to only be members of the executive board. However, we didn't feel like that was really fair to our other members. So we picked people from the executive board that would have a greater impact, specifically our event planner, our vice president, and then we were going to send our treasurer, but he's actually chosen to stay back for another project we're working on. And so we're also sending one member who hasn't actually confirmed that he's going because he doesn't know yet. And I'm trying to remember the last person. I don't know if any of you remember Aiden Flaherty. He's he's a special advisor to the executive board of Alcohol. He's also going to get it down. He's a very energetic individual who we feel really benefit from some of the classes that they have down there as far as directing your energy. So.
All right, are there any other questions at this time? I have one personally. What are some of the experiences and lessons that you're able to bring back? Like just a solid example of one.
So probably the best thing they have down there is in the early mornings for college students. They have a very specific training program called boot camp. It teaches young, inexperienced college students how to really engage with other college students on campuses, especially through social media. And it coaches them on not just going out there and blasting out your political ideologies and your beliefs, because it doesn't actually get you anywhere. It teaches them how to open up dialogue, have a conversation with somebody, get to understand where they're coming from, and then use that to make sure that they understand where you're coming from. So it's not so much about an indoc as it is, or indoctrination, sorry, as it is about creating a broader conversation across the political divide that seems to be widening every day.
Thank you.
Motion to move to a vote.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, move to a vote, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we are moving to a vote to fund the College Republicans $600 to attend CPAC. All those in favor of providing the funding, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right. Congratulations.
We will now be moving to TSA 2019 Spring-1, the access card amendment will be presented by Speaker McLaughlin.
Can you guys see that? Yeah. You know, on the front of the thing there. All right. So TSA 2019 S001 is a bylaw amendment that specifically pertains to the diction in the bylaws that state that USG officials receive 24/7 access cards to all the student space in the campus center just by being a member of USG. In kind of, it was like the first thing that I saw when I first got in here was that oh yeah, I get 24/7 access card and stuff like that. After speaking with Shelby, that like it's never been offered. It was just sort of like an idealistic thing that they threw into the original formation of the bylaws. It's nothing that will be offered at least anytime soon, and it can always be taken out of the bylaws if it's something that will be offered. But in this current status, there's no way for us to get this in the bylaws that currently capture what's happening within USG. It's kind of the standing of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to vote? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving to a vote, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We will now be voting on approving TSA 2019 Spring-1. All those in favor of approving this bylaw amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. It passes. We will now be moving to TSA 2019 Spring-2, also presented by Speaker McLaughlin.
So TSA 2019 S002 is another bylaw that's outdated, and it states that officers and officials will be allowed to register for classes with senior status. This was actually in the like the bylaw test that you have to take at the beginning of the proficiency exam, and like it's wrong, we've never offered it. So that was a sticking point for some people last year, is that it says that we get it, but we never have, and we won't for the foreseeable future again. So this bylaw just kind of writes that whole section out. It's not something that's been offered, and rather than setting false expectations for new senators coming in or senators that are already here, it would be easier just to get rid of it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Any questions? Seeing none, I will look favorably on a motion to vote. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. All right, we will now be voting on TSA 2019 Spring-2. All those in favor of approving this bylaw amendment, say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed, nay. It passes.
Thank you all. So we're going to move on to the Beacon Ambassadors.
If you have that actual presentation that they gave you, I can pretty much say what they found.
No, I told them to come at like 3:40. We're running a little ahead of schedule, so that's my bad. But they can go ahead and pull up when they get here. So in that case, we'll actually move on to an item that's not like officially on the agenda, but it's on mine here, and it's the justice nomination. So.
Hi again, everybody. I am now nominating to fill Mrs. Frank Macy. If you want to come up and introduce yourself, then she will, and answer any questions that you may have, and then we will move to the vote of the nomination.
Hi, my name is Macy Jones. I'm a political science major. I'm a freshman. And I would like to be a justice because I want to become more involved in the university. And I figure that this is one way that I can do that is because we're basically the same years at this university. We help get things done. And so I'd like to be part of that. After reading the bylaws, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how this position works. And so I'd appreciate your support.
And we have any questions for Macy into her?
How'd you hear about the nomination?
Senators will actually introduce you to the position.
Anyone else?
Do you feel you'll be a good advocate on the judicial board for election integrity and counting votes fair and going through these processes by the book?
Yes, because elections should be fair, and so would.
I agree.
Just a point of clarification, the votes are online. that?
I mean, in this chamber, because we have done,
The internal. plan,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Oh, then
that's my question.
Yes, I would.
That's what you call a handball question.
Alright, any other questions for Macy? There's been a motion to move to vote, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving to a vote say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Alright, so we're moving to a vote to nominate Macy Jones to the judicial branch. All those in favor of nominating Macy say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations. So, Beacon ambassadors, you here? Awesome. All right. So the presentation should be saved up here. I can just hold on for you. Should be in the box here.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Sean Cleary. I'm the events coordinator in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I also oversee our Beacon Ambassadors team through the office. So I'm here today just to talk to you guys a little bit about Beacon Ambassadors because we are in the middle of our recruitment process. So just to see if it might be an opportunity that you guys as student leaders on campus might be interested in, or if it's something you feel like maybe your friends would be interested in applying for. So just want to run through a brief presentation. It won't take me like more than 5 minutes, but just to introduce you guys to what the Beacon Ambassadors do on campus and how our recruitment process is going to work. So in general, our Beacon Ambassadors serve as the university's student tour guides. So they are based out of the undergraduate admissions office. This position is a paid position on campus. It involves working with a lot of our prospective freshmen and transfer students. So you would primarily be helping to give them campus tours. Those are 1-hour walking tours around campus, just introducing them to a lot of our resources that are available to them. It also involves working some of our large recruitment events. That is our open house in the fall and our 2 welcome day events in the spring. We also do some weekend visit opportunities because we do realize that it's hard for some families to get here during the week. So we have what's called transfer application days and showcase Saturday events. Essentially a weekend campus visit with information session and tour. That's an opportunity for our Beacon Ambassadors to assist with as well. Being a Beacon Ambassador does involve getting to network with a lot of people on campus too. So you quickly get to learn a lot about the admissions and enrollment management side of the university, but then you also get to make a lot of cool connections with students and help to show them what UMass Boston has to offer, and maybe they'll see themselves here one day as well. So in terms of eligibility, right now I mentioned we're in the recruitment process. So we're looking for students of any major. We're looking for students who aren't graduating just yet, so at least have 1 semester, preferably 1 year left at UMass Boston. So even if you're a freshman this year, you can still apply because you'll be a sophomore at the time that you start. In terms of GPA, we're looking for a 3.0 or higher cumulative GPA, and students who have at least 12 or more credit hours, which is typically what everyone has at some point during their freshman year. We also look for availability at least 5 to 10 hours per week, but we are really flexible with the schedules. We do realize that academics come first, so we do want to make sure that your work schedule makes it around your class schedule so it's not so hectic for you guys to get those tours. With the tours, we have 2 time slots that we typically schedule the students for. If you're giving the tour, it's about a 3-hour commitment, so you can also help with the check-in process. But then we also sometimes slot our beacons just to do check-in, so that's just a 1.5-hour work time for that. So pretty flexible there, making sure that we can work with y'all's schedules. A lot of reasons to become a Beacon Ambassador, I did mention it's paid, so we pay $12.25 per hour. Not just paying for the events and tours that you give, but all the training sessions and things that we may enlist your help with off campus, like college fairs. We do have those come up from time to time. You guys get to network outside the admissions office. In our big events that we have everyone on campus there, so you quickly get to meet a lot of top administrators, even as high as the chancellor's office level. You get to gain a lot of presentation and communication skills just because you are doing those 1-hour presentations pretty frequently throughout the school year. And we try to build a pretty strong team culture. We have team socials, professional development, workshops, and things of that nature offered throughout the year. In terms of the next steps, our application is available on our website, which I'll show you guys at the very end of the presentation. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a lot of your basic information and a short answer question at the end. Applications are due on Monday the 11th, which is coming up soon, but we can work with students if they're interested but may feel like they won't meet that deadline. We'll then do application review after that, a series of interviews, and then we hope to announce our team in mid-March when you guys come back from spring break. So this is our contact information. Ellie Wilson in our office is also in charge of the Beacon Ambassadors with me. She is the person who's in charge of receiving applications and reviewing those. So if you guys have more questions, you can feel free to contact her. You'll also see our website is up here. This outlines pretty much all the information that I talked to you guys about today, but it also has our application available for download. The application can be downloaded and emailed straight to Ellie, or it can be downloaded and turned into the admissions office, which is on the upper level of this building. But that's all the information I wanted to share with you guys. But hopefully, if you feel that's something you might be interested in, you'll consider applying. Or again, if you guys know friends who you feel might be a good fit for the position, definitely encourage them to check out the website. We have some tabling that we'll be doing on this floor tomorrow, so send them by. And we'll be doing some information sessions tomorrow afternoon, just down the hall in 2540. So definitely encourage them to come and chat with us if they have any questions. Thank you guys.
The Beacon Ambassador program is really good. I have a few friends that have done it in the first couple of years here, freshman through junior year, and it was incredibly helpful in terms of networking and actually increasing their involvement on campus. So.
I do it as well.
Got some proponents in the room. Awesome. All right. So that's everything on the agenda, but we're moving on to open forum. Does anyone have anything to discuss?
So earlier we were talking about OER. One thing I want to just let you guys know. So there is OER week, March 4th to 8th, and another thing that students across the other college campuses are kind of starting to take part in is a photo campaign. So I know a lot of you guys might be, in CSM or CM, any type of program, but obviously textbooks are expensive. Intro courses and other courses they get pricey. So one thing that Student Advisory Council doing, the one thing that we're trying to do as well as student government is launch a photo campaign. So if you yourself want to take part, or you know any friends that have been spending a lot of money on textbooks, send them my way or Chair Martin's way. What we're hoping to do is take your picture, kind of get a few sentences of how much money you spent on textbooks, or maybe how much money you possibly have saved by finding alternative textbooks, or your professors might be using some sort of online course. And we really want to just put that on social media, tag our legislators so they're starting to get aware of it and bring more awareness to it. And the hope is that we can have meetings with legislators and get them to be more aware about OER and kind of get more funding for OER through the state budget. So if any senator here wants to take part in this photo campaign, or you might know a friend that would kind of be looking forward to doing it, then just let me know and we can set that all up.
Yeah, really good point. The campaign in general that we're going to be working on with Matt's Prairie and with the library, we're kind of at an apex right now of where we can, of what we can actually accomplish. It's kind of tough timing, obviously, because a few people that are really dedicated to the cause are going to be graduating in May. But anyone that's looking to kind of undertake the cause and has more years on campus and will be able to reap the benefits of an advanced OER program, definitely reach out to us. I know a couple of people have, and we would love to get you on board and kind of brief you as to what we're working on, help you get involved in OER week, which is going to be really exciting and kind of creating a sort of textbook revolution at UMass Boston. But, yeah. So is there anything else for open forum?
I have an update on the flagpole resolution that we passed last semester. At the end of the semester, I was able to meet with, I think I brought it up, but a bunch of people from administration. We debated about 7 different sites on campus that flagpoles should be installed at. We ended up making 2.5 recommendations to the chancellor. There's not a way of putting that, but those were sent off to her office over the winter break. She actually decided that they should be installed at the brand new traffic circle up in front of the Integrated Science Complex. So that's about it. The construction timetable is still to be determined, but we're optimistic that it should be done by the end of the spring semester.
Great job following up. I know it hasn't always been super easy.
I'm really good at harassing up.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you realize is after you pass a resolution, it only goes so far unless you take it even further. So good on you. Anything else for open forum? Does anyone have something to say? Go. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.